Hello and welcome to Sought After with Sonita, where we discuss godly relationships. And in today's video, I'm discussing how your parents' marriage can destroy your relationship life. If you don't master these things that I'm going to talk about today, it is possible that no matter how good or how bad your parents' marriage was, it will destroy your own relationship. It can even destroy the chance of you having a good relationship. It can go as far as destroying even your marriage. If your parents' marriage was bad, it is very possible that you replicate the same things in your own relationship, because whether you like it or not, you tend to do what you know. And growing up as a child with your parents or whatsoever couple you were first exposed to as a child, automatically imbibe values, both the ones that you liked about them and the one that you did not like. And if you not consciously unlearn and relearn, you end up repeating those things whether you like it or not. In your parents' marriage, it's possible that there are typically bad things that you've already noticed and you've made up your mind that I will never repeat this mistake, I will never do this kind of thing that my parents did. It's also possible that there are really bad things in your parents' marriage that you don't even notice what's wrong with them. You just move on with them without even knowing if they are good or bad. For you, that's just what marriage is. That's how my parents did it, and they are still together till today, and they lived happily ever after. Who told you they were happy? And nevertheless, there are also very good things that we can learn from our parents' marriages. On the flip side, for those that their parents had good marriages that they can really learn a lot from it, it is also possible for you to have a bad marriage simply because your parents had a good one. I'll explain that in the last point on this video. Right away, let's start with the bad experiences from your parents' marriage that can destroy your relationship life. The first is if your parents' marriage had lies telling and cheating involved. If you observe your parents cheat on each other or tell lies to each other, deceive each other in different ways, any form of insincerity, unfaithfulness or dishonesty that you saw consistently taking place in your parents' marriage, had a tendency of making you fear to marry in future, because you have trust issues. You'll find it very difficult to get a life partner for yourself, because you'll find it very difficult to trust anybody. And even when you're in a relationship, you'll be insecure, you'll be overprotective, too jealous. You become a monitoring spirit after your partner, because what you saw from your parents were a partner who cheated on each other, who lied to each other, and so you can't trust your partner. This kind of people end up avoiding commitment, or maybe they just also go with the common mindset you hear women say men must cheat. It's because they observe their fathers cheat, so they think men must cheat. And generally, they don't find marriage to be a secure place, so they avoid it for fear of being betrayed. And even in marriage, they cannot be fully vulnerable because they don't want somebody to take all of them, then go and betray them. So you find out that you have trust issues and you fear commitment. Dig out your past in this area. Secondly, we have sexual abuse. If you grow up observing your parents abuse each other sexually, it affects the way you view sex. Girls who grow up in an environment where there was sexual abuse between their parents tend to fear and hate sex. They see it like the necessary evil they must go through when they get married. And when parents are having sexual abuse going on in their marriage, they may think the children are too small to understand. They know it all, they understand it. Even what they hear in their childish mind, when they grow up, they understand what was going on. So these things tend to affect the way they view sex in general. And for the boys, they grow up seeing sex like something they can always take forcefully, because some parents actually have it like almost a norm that the woman is hardly willing to give in to sex and the man is always eager to have it all the time. And so the sexual abuse most times, but maybe not all the times, it's always the father wanting it and the mother not wanting to give it. So the children observe it like something that women suffer from and something that men enjoy from. So that trauma of thinking that sex is suffering for women stick in the girls' minds, and they grow up with it. Of thinking that sex is something you can always get by force stick in the guy's mind, and they grow up with it, and they might likely replicate the very same cycle in their own relationships. Another one is financial abuse. This is a situation where one partner tries to use money to control the other partner, or hindering them from having a source of income so that they can use it to suppress and manipulate them due to their financial needs. And in some contexts, it manifests itself as stinginess and even financial irresponsibility from parents. Sometimes fathers who refuse to sponsor children, and mother has to cover up for everything plus responsibilities that were not for her to take a loan. And sometimes women will say that my money is my money and my husband's money is our money. So if your parents had any of these kind of things, it might affect your own relationships. For example, if one of your parents use money to manipulate or control the other one, it is possible to go into relationship with a sense of too much financial independence. You have made up your mind that nobody will do that nonsense to you that they did to your mother or to your father. So you're not ready to open up your finances to your partner in any way. Sometimes parents go through this thing and they even use it to advise their children. Never make your husband to know what is in your account. Always hide something. Always do this, always do that. And the things that our parents go through, they pass it down to us, maybe through by us just imbibing them by observation and experience, or maybe sometimes they even teach it to us as doctrine. You hear a father tell the son, never let your wife know what is in your purse. So those financial abuse situations that we carry to our own marriages, which is not even God's will for marriage. If the two become one, their resources become one. That man you distrust so much is not your father who betrayed your mother financially, it's someone else. Give him that benefit of doubt. This makes boys to be afraid to marry a woman that earns more than them. If you're typically a young man that you are afraid to marry a woman that earns more than you, please do a recheck on the value you place on money and how it affects your relationship. Because if no abuse is involved, it really doesn't matter who earns more, because after all, both of you have the same resources. The fourth type of abuse is emotional abuse. This is a situation where one of your parents made the other one feel less and thought less of themselves. It might have been through excessive criticisms, verbal abuse, insults, body shaming, or different things that make them think less of themselves. So growing up in this kind of environment give birth to a human being that will just be overly defensive. Before getting in any relationship, you're already defending yourself, because somehow in your subconscious mind you have already decided that nobody will do this nonsense to me that maybe my father did to my mother or my mother did to my father. It also makes it very difficult for you to take any form of correction from your spouse. Sometimes it goes as far as just taking any form of correction from the opposite gender. Like you're a girl, you say, boy cannot tell me what to do. Go back and check it out. Maybe you observe your father controlling your mother, telling her what to do, manipulating her emotionally, making her feel bad about herself. And you have decided that will not happen to you. And you also have gone hyper, to the point that even a normal correction for you sounds like a critic, because you have been used to hearing criticisms. This goes as far as in marriage. You always hear criticisms in every correction. If you're trying to avoid being suppressed, maybe like your mom. Sometimes one of her parents is so abused that she developed low self-esteem and then passed down that low self-esteem to us. So you automatically go into relationships with a very low self-esteem. You stick into relationships that you're supposed to have left since. You're being abused, you're being manipulated, you're being gaslighted, and all kinds of treatments are meted upon you that are not necessary. You stay there because you went originally with a low self-esteem. You watch your mom go through that low self-esteem in her marriage, and now you are carrying to your relationships. I'm not in any way advocating for divorce. I'm talking of relationships before marriage. There are some things that when you get into a relationship and find out that they are there, don't try to be doing the work of the Holy Spirit of fixing and changing some people. There are some changes in people's life that is not for you to make. It is just for you to live. Another thing that if our parents go through, it might affect us is divorce. I want to talk of divorce as the physical divorce that we know about, or just abandonment, emotional abandonment. When you observe your parents go through this kind of experience in their marriage, it leaves you with a mindset that divorce is inevitable. Your mother and your father, they are your first heroes in life. In your childish mind, you thought they were the best people in the whole wide world, and yet they divorced. What more of you? You will just think it's possible, and then before you know it, will be manifesting in your life. You'll find yourself in a series of broken relationships. This is how some people take divorce and emotional separation. But on the other hand, there are this other group of people that when their parents go through divorce or emotional separation, they tend to stick it into relationship at all costs to make sure that they don't ever have such a thing. It is possible to want to prove that you're not like your parents, which is a good thing, to try to make your own relationships work. It only gets bad when you're trying so hard but to prove a point. For you, it's like if you have a breakup in your relationship, means that you have failed in life. You cannot handle a breakup. So much so that if you are in a relationship with somebody and there are red lights left, right, and center, you will not even bother to leave. You will stay there. You will die there simply because you had vowed never to have breakups like your parents did. And sometimes you always think that it's your fault because you might have watched your mom or your dad wallow in self-pity when one of their partner left, thinking it's their fault, and then you think that if your own relationship to break, it is somehow your fault. And those are all emotional manipulations that your parents' separation or divorce might have placed on you. So if your parents had ever separated or had a divorce, check out for these things in your life. They might be there and they might be affecting your relationships. Furthermore, this is also similar to the case of physical abuse. Children that observe their parents abuse each other physically do not know how to resolve conflict in their own relationships. They have never seen any other way how conflicts are resolved except through violence. So even when they do not plan to be physically abusive to their own partners, in their relationships, they find that they are physically abusive. When they get angry, the next thing is they hit a table and you're still sitting in that relationship. You don't know. When you eventually get married, when he gets angry, he will hit by your face. So it is something that you should watch out for and handle because you had never known how a conflict is resolved. Now you have a problem with your fiancé. You don't know how to say you're sorry. You've never seen your father say he is sorry. This is a thing that is very common, especially with guys. It's quite difficult for guys in the African context to tell a lady, I'm sorry. They have seen their father go back and come back with extra meat, extra dresses as a way of saying, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not saying you should not bring those things, bring them, but still say that I am sorry. Still learn how to tell somebody I am sorry. Because if you don't learn like a baby, it will not come naturally. Because when you were a baby, you did not learn it, you did not see it. Because the things you see automatically become your way. The conflict you have with your partner remind you of the fights that your parents had. And when you're having a little conflict with your partner, in your mind, you're seeing your partner beating you because you have seen your dad beat your mom many times. You're angry at times, not even at what is going on, but at the fact that you have conflict at all. In this kind of circumstances, you might find that you always try as much as possible to avoid conflict. You don't want any conflict to occur because for you, from your childhood, you know that when conflict occur, beating will come, fighting will come, a silent treatment will come. You don't know that you people can disagree over something, talk about it, and then apologize, and then even grow stronger in the relationship. You've never seen it happen like that. You don't know how it is done like that. Even when you are trying to say sorry, it's as if there is a strong force stopping you from saying sorry. And even when you are trying to just resolve conflict in a calm way, it's like there's a strong force forcing you that violence must be involved. These are things that we imbibe from the way we see our parents handle things, that if we don't unlearn them, we will manifest them in our present relationship. You might look at yourself and find that in some way you are already manifesting it. This is also very similar to children who grow up with parents where there was no form of affection at all. You have never seen your father tell your mother how much he loves her. You have never seen your mother express love to her father. I'm telling you that sometimes parents do not only lack this affection. They even teach you how to lack affection. There are African homes where the father will sit the boy children down and tell them how they not be showing their feelings to women. A man has to be strong, you should not be vulnerable. And also, if you have never seen your parents vulnerable, it might be difficult for you to express your feelings. Even to go and tell a girl I love you might be difficult. You'll be doing a big man left, right, and center. You'll not be able to be vulnerable. And there are ladies that they have never seen their mom show how much they love their father, for fear that maybe their father would take her for granted, and now they think it is the way. They know that you don't show a man how much you love him, or else he will take you for granted. My sister, a man that will take you for granted will take you for granted, whether you tell him or not, whether you manifest it or not. So it is the right thing to do, like in the book of Songs of Songs, to express your love to your partner. If they want to take you for granted, let them take you for granted. In fact, learn. And I'll still need to do another video to really discuss how we can overcome these things. I don't want to add it in this one, else the video would have been too long. Last but not the least is how the good qualities in your parents' marriage can actually destroy your relationships. You know, some of our parents really tried. They did it. They have little or none of these things that I've mentioned above. And then now you're out there looking for a life partner, and you're looking for somebody that is exactly like your father. You are looking for somebody who understands you like your father understands your mom. And you do not know that they took 20 years to build this level of understanding between themselves. And you're not ready to give anybody a chance to grow with you. You were not there to see the version of your father that your mother married, and vice versa too. And so guys, you're there busy looking for a lady that can cook like your mom, a lady that knows how to hail you the same way your mom always hail and praises your dad. It is unrealistic. I'm not saying that you should not have standards. Have standards, have qualities, but please stop looking for your parents in a life partner. You will not find one. Give another person the chance to grow into becoming the kind of man or the kind of woman you want them to be. If your parents had a wonderful marriage, please stop looking for somebody like your dad or somebody like your mom to marry. And even when you get married, or even when you're in a relationship with somebody, give them that chance to grow, the time to grow, the grace they need, the forgiveness they need to grow and become. And put in the work, especially if you're the guy. It's your responsibility to wash your wife with the word of God so that she will be sparkling, to groom her. That's why you're called the groom. It's your responsibility to make her who you want her to be. You can perfect her beauty, her wisdom, her knowledge. There's so much you can do. And ladies, if you're looking for a sharp guy with money like your daddy, know that maybe you're the one who is supposed to change his fashion style. You're the one who is supposed to iron his dresses. Maybe you're the one who is supposed to motivate him until he climbs to that height of that kind of money and become like your daddy. So stop looking for the best if you had the best growing up. Look for people that have the potentials to grow. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the things from our parents' marriages that can destroy our own relationships if we do not look out for. Like I said earlier, I will make another video of how we can overcome this thing. Please subscribe, like, and share to friends. See you in the next video.